Many lives were feared dead and several others sustained injuries after a fighter jet aimed at targeting the Lakurawa terrorist group mistakenly bombed 2 communities in Silame local government area of Sokoto state. The incident, which occurred around 7 a.m. on Wednesday, affected the villages of Gidan Sama and Rumtuwa. According to locals, these communities are situated near Silame forest, known to be a hideout for Lakurawa members and bandits. A resident of Silame, Malam Yahaya, confirmed the proximity of the villages to the forest, while another source disclosed that over 10 villagers were killed in the airstrike, with many others injured. Alhaji Abubakar Muhammad Daftaran, a chairman of the Silame local government, acknowledged the attack and stated that efforts were underway to determine the extent of the casualties and damage. The villagers were sitting peacefully when the bombs started dropping in the communities. They were innocent and peace-loving people who had no any criminal record. It was early for me to confirm the number of people either killed or injured because we were still assessing the development, he said. Efforts to get comments from the Sokoto State Police Command proved unsuccessful as the spokesperson ASP Ahmad Rufaya declined to comment, citing that the incident was outside the purview of police operations. Do I say police injustice, or the common man got into a situation that is unavoidable? But coming from a security, the troop that has been trained, I'm sure they were actually trained to release these bombs to the Lakurawa groups in the forest. The fact that it entered 2 different communities at different instances is actually another thing for concern. But quickly, let me not say most of the things I have to say. I would love to ask you, Dr. Kene, and the spokesperson in the community, Alhaji Mohammed, has actually said that they've made comments. They've taken the issue to the police command, but they said it is not under their jurisdiction. In cases where this has actually been done, mistakenly people were affected, is the police not supposed to get involved in this situation? You know, I want to get a thought about this because I'm really not certain about what to say about this, please.
Okay, first thing is that what has happened is quite unfortunate for citizens in their own domain to suddenly be bombed to death when they are not, they are not in a state of war is very regrettable, and I sympathize with the families and all those ones that have found themselves in such situation. The other thing is that accidents do happen. Okay. No matter the level of training and sophistication of weaponry and all that, accidents do happen, and that's why they are called accidents. Okay. But it's also important to note that given the kind of stories we have had in the past concerning the operations in some parts of the north and over this fight against the insurgency and all that, okay, that there is a need for this matter to be properly investigated. Okay. To know, because anything we say now just amounts to speculation, to determine whether this was actually maybe a technical fault or a mistake, okay, or whether it's even sabotage. Okay. Whether they were targeted or whether it's sabotage. Okay. Because there is also a chance that communities living close to such environments could be sources of information. Okay. They could be sources of information for the army, for the police. They could be, that could be a sort of punishment. That could also be a technical error. That could be sabotage. Okay. In fact, it could be anything as at now until it is properly investigated. Okay. And this needs to be addressed. Now, for the police, I think I understand why the police will want to say, no, this is outside our operational area. Okay. A sister agency is involved, and naturally they should be the ones at the forefront stating what happened. Okay. If the police meddles, there could be ill feelings between the agencies. They need to stay back and hear first from those who are directly involved before they come in.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Okene. More quickly, Dr. Key, I would love to get your thoughts about this.
Well, I'm trying to condole with the families of the affected in Sokoto State. But again, I also like to thank God that we now have a fighter jet that can, help curb insecurity in Nigeria. And I also want to commend that it's alarming also to hear that there is a new group again, Lakurawa, that we have been hearing about Boko Haram, this one and that. So it's like, for me, another group is out again, and let me also commend the military for trying to be responsive in ensuring that this kind of group do not escalate, so I think it's commendable. But I also like to encourage, if you hear the story that the community is close to the forest, close to a forest, so it's very, very risky, very, very risky. But I still thank God that they have a spokesman. It means that that community was not annihilated. It was not completely wiped out. Even though one person died or two, we do not celebrate it. We condemn that actions and we sympathize with them. But I'd like to encourage that the very reason, the intent of the security operatives should be achieved, because their intention is to see that this group do not exist, do not continue. I think that was the intent. So I think that now that lives have been lost, but we have not gotten the full details, if actually they have been able to dislodge, and then this group were also affected, this community. So is when the report, like my brother said, doctor, that a good investigation should be done. And I believe that Nigerians will await the report of that investigation. So, but we would like to celebrate them more if we hear that they were able to carry out a successful operation, even though lives were affected, innocent people. So, but that's when we really applaud them. But in any case, we would like to salute their courage in trying to make sure that Nigeria becomes a safe place for Nigerians. I don't think their intention was bad. But like I said, I'm happy now that we are seeing the fighter jet. We are seeing the response of the military, being celebrated openly, apart from what has happened. I know they are doing quite a lot, but I want to say that their responsiveness in this issue of this group that we just heard, I think is commendable. Don't give up in this fight in ensuring that Nigeria is safe for everybody. So I commend your effort and also sympathize with the people who are